What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're gonna have a discussion video on the state of King and Diane's kit and whether or not they need a buff, by the way. So we're gonna be talking about that in today's video. So for you guys that don't know, here we've had some stuff in the community where people are saying this character needs a buff, and we actually have a video here from the boy Iron. Here, let me zoom out so you guys can see. Iron here, and it's auto dubbed in English, so we actually can react to this, guys, because Iron is obviously not an English YouTuber, but we can react to this together and we can hear what he has to say. I already listened to like the first like 2 minutes, by the way, just to kind of get an idea of like what this auto dubbing was and you know what he had to say so far. But we're gonna watch it together in this video, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on how I feel about the character and whether or not I think they need a buff based on what Iron has to say. But I think personally right now, before just going into this video, I do not think the character needs a buff, guys. I think they're completely fine. The only thing that I would say that they need to be changed in their kit is this right here. Remove the deathmatch like lock part of their passive. Let them be able to be used in deathmatch so that we can use them in Endura. Other than that, I'm fine with the character. But let's go through, let's hear what Iron has to say, and yeah, we're just gonna kind of react here, guys. I'll put it, yeah, so I have it on 1.25 times speed, and we'll just kind of go through and I'll give you guys my thoughts on what he has to say. So let's hop in.
Okay, yo everyone, new video today, friends. Video, we're going to
yeah,
talk
by the
about
way, this
King
is
and
brand new,
Diane.
the auto
There are
dubbing
things to
thing.
say.
Crazy.
I'm going to give my opinion on the character, and honestly, it's simple. When you're a guy who plays the game a lot, you see straight away that the character is not at all suited to PvP. In PvE, the character is very good. I'm going to make videos and so on, but honestly, is HP important? You see, I'm going to ask you a question. Is it important right now? Yes, it's good for new players and so on, but on the banner, there's not just King and Jan, sorry. And again, in terms of HP, it's very good because King and Jan are surrounded by very good characters next to them.
Okay, so I don't know what he means by HP. Maybe that's a mistranslation. Maybe PvP or PvE. I'm assuming he's talking PvP because he's saying he's gonna play PvE soon. So let's just like assume that's PvP, guys.
So obviously, it's very good. There you go. In PvE, I say it again. I'm going to make videos, but we're going to talk about the PvP side and those who have tested the character, or even I don't know if you've watched my videos, but let's say you haven't watched anything. To put it very simply, the big flaw of King and Jan, I'm going to get to it very quickly.
Let's get into it, bro.
I'm going to try to make a very short video. Try to be, precise in what I'm going to say, because if I start going off on nuts and saying crazy things, we're obviously not going to understand anything.
Okay.
So for me, King and Jan, the biggest flaw is that it's a totally selfish character.
Okay, this right here, guys, is where I gotta pause the video. So Iron is saying that King and Diane is a totally selfish character. Now we can go to the kit of the character and I can explain why I think this is not the case. We have already two things that I can just go to instantly from the kit that I know of that is literally a non-selfish thing, right? We have the first part of the passive here, increases basic stats of applicable allies, right? So we have team-wide basic stat buffing, right? Also applies to Wrath of the Fairy King effects on the hero duo, then removes allies debuffs equal to the number of surviving allies and heals them. So the talent is support, in my opinion, right? It's not like a selfish thing. It's not just for King and Diane. It's a heal and a debuff cleanse. And then this part of the passive right here is the basic stats for the entire team. And then I guess for the rest of the kit, you could definitely argue from that point that it's a little bit selfish. I would say though that there's things that still benefit the team. If you look at this right here, if a petrified enemy, or if there is a petrified enemy, applicable allies final damage taken is decreased. So you're giving your team damage reduction as well. So that's another thing that I would say is not really selfish. That's just the kind of thing that is benefiting the team, in my opinion. And then I'm not too sure if the damage taken reduction is only for King and Diane for Wrath of the Fairy. I'm assuming it is. But like at least this part right here, guys, the talent, and then this first part is not selfish at all, in my opinion. So that just off the rip is what I have to say about that. But let's hear what Iron has to say and elaborate on it.
You're going to say to me, but what's Iron talking about?
That's literally what I said.
The character's kit is very simple. When you read it, basically, it says, increases the team's base stats. Okay, cool. But other than that, in fact, it does nothing at all for the team.
Okay.
So in reality, that means that the team makes it is carried by Alpha.
What?
And that's why the
team's carried by Alpha? Okay, I will say in PvP, Alpha is a game changer, guys. That is something I will say, because Alpha obviously gives you the mist form, which is the first two attacks that you take. You're actually like pretty much block affecting the damage, right? It's only going to be just raw attack percent or raw HP percent. It's not going to be like an effect on the skill, right? You're completely blocking that with Alpha. So I see where he's coming from with that, but I don't necessarily think that like just because you know, if we dropped Alpha from the team completely, right, and we just run like Lancelot, you know, Diane, and then like Beta, and then like, you know, Hellbrim backline, I think that's still a solid team. You know, I think that's still an option. You can definitely run that, you know. But again, like I'm assuming that Iron's kind of delving into the, like, you know, the top 100 type meta that we're kind of talking about here, which needs Alpha. And so yeah, it's a situation like that where, yeah, I mean, you know, Alpha is a big part of the team, but I don't necessarily think it's just her that's carrying the team for what it is, because I think King and Diane do a lot.
The first turns. So if you start first in real, sorry guys, if you start first, you are but ultra advantage with the team, because for 2 skills, you will take no damage.
Yep.
And the thing
which is why I said the
you cannot
misform.
keep your damage cap with Alpha, so put it T2. Basically, that's what you have to do. It's optimal. Conversely, if you start second, you can do nothing. You literally get 1 tapped. Why? Because already inevitably you are a turn behind. You will lose the buffer of our friend Alpha. So you know the 2 skills. Finally, the 2 skills, you take no damage. But even after, let's say if you have your damage cap, well, your team, it will be swept, but in 2. She's going.
Okay, what I have to say about this is just how Grand Cross PvP divulges, guys. This is how it's gonna be. It's a CC, you know, match at the end of the day. Whoever goes first gets the major advantage. That's the whole point of CC in the game. If we didn't have combat class, there would be no point in an advantage of going first versus going second. That's the whole difference. And so I'm personally, I don't know what Iron's trying to get at there. Like, you know, the fact that you go second, that you're on like a 2-turn kind of timer where you would lose the match. Like, I just think that's just how it goes in PvP, you know. Like, it's a situation where going first is just a benefit, and that goes for any team though. It's not just exclusively the King and Diane team.
Going to get swept in 2, because once again, as soon as Alpha's beef is over, there's nothing left, bro. It's all over. Lancelot's beef will remain, but the year buff is very minimal. It's a 30% reduction that you get on stats and defense. In short, it's very minimal.
Okay.
So basically, translation, we end up with a character who boosts the base stats, and that's all really.
Again, I mean, I said that's not true. You get the petrified damage reduction for your team, right? Because when you petrify the enemy, you get 50% damage reduction. That's obviously a higher dupe. I think it's like 20% at 1 in 6. That's still valuable. And then you also get the heal. So I personally disagree with that statement just being the basic stat buff. Like, it's not just that the King and Diane's doing. But I mean, that's the only thing that Iron's pretty much like acknowledging for, you know, this type of for endgame PvP, I guess, you know. But I still would value those other 2 things personally. But
big flaw is the stacking aspect in PvP. It's written, you have to put up to 400,000 damage on a target to gain the buff, of the King of Facts. Is that it? So a very, very important buff for the character. And that's the same, guys, 400,000 damage on someone.
Yep.
And what you have to remember is that the character needs this stacking to get his King's Wrath effect, and also do a lot of damage with his owl, because the kid has played around it.
Yeah, so that's definitely a fair point. Like, getting the 400k to get the buffs, I feel like though that it's pretty attainable in PvP. At least for me, I'm just going off of what I've done in my matches for my free-to-play account, and even going into geared, I'm just gonna assume it's even easier to do. Guys, hitting 400k in PvP is probably a lot easier to do in geared as well. That's just one thing I want to mention. And then for me personally, the match, like, when you're running King and Diane, your matches are usually probably done by the time it's like the 3rd turn if you went first, right? Because, you know, the first 2 turns, you're just getting off your damage with King and Diane anyway. You'll use their talent, you'll get their damage off, and you'll already have built up that 400k by that point. You would already have won the match, right? You would already have killed them. So I think that they are attainable in getting that 400k, because they do so much damage inherently, right? They're always hitting super hard on that AoE, and it's the build up on the enemy that you're able to get through their passive. Here, let me actually read you guys that part of the kit again. Where is it? Whenever an enemy reaches the maximum Wrath of the Earth value, the hero gains 1 Wrath of the Fairy King effect, out to a maximum of 3, but you can stack up to 5 with this on top of it, right? But where was it? Wrath of the Earth is applied on all enemies at the start of the battle, then Giant Queen's Protection, and Wrath of the Earth is accumulating up to 400k of the target's damage taken, which again, you're able to accumulate up very, very easily in my opinion, just based on the damage King and Diane do. And then, yeah, I mean, the Giant Queen's Protection is the HP related and the immune to petrify. So it's just a little bit of like a 2-turn kind of buff there. But yeah, I mean, sure, I mean, I guess that could be definitely an argument. Like, okay, maybe you're not able to get the build up because of that. You know, you're not going to be able to get 400k damage dealt on an enemy. But I feel like that's attainable, guys, at least in my opinion. Let me know how you guys have felt about that, you know, the 400k threshold amount, though. Let me know. Let's continue the video, though.
So look here, if you have SP6, you do 40% of the accumulated value in additional damage.
Yep.
SP1 is 20% lol, by the way. In short, basically, we end up with a final character, EH. To put it very simply, a character who brings no reduction to the team and who takes 8 months to stack. But really 8 months to stack. There is zero Van and it is a very big problem in PvP.
I don't know about that long to stack, guys. I personally get my bust to turn 2 after I've already done my AoE. Personally. I don't know if that's like a thing of like, you know, maybe it's just like a match by match basis. But for me, it's felt like I've been able to get that. That's how I feel about it, right? But I guess, yeah, I guess it does depend. Like, I did use 1 out of 6 King and Diane, though, in my free-to-play video. So I feel like I got a pretty good grasp of what that character is able to do. And personally, from what I was doing in that video, it felt like I was able to get the stacks up, or I was just finishing the match off anyway. Right, like it's either I won the match or I'm building up the stacks to where I can continue with the bust that I got from the Wrath of the Fairy King, right? So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at though, guys. Let's continue.
Currently, the character is alive thanks to Alpha.
Okay, so he's saying
Bring the
that
character
Alpha.
back to the team. You'll laugh, bro. Start second tones, but the guy will make you a child, bro.
Okay.
You will get smashed by Hayla.
Okay,
Zero
okay.
Van. Hayla, she makes you a kid live big. There's zero
Hella.
Van in what I'm saying. It's like obviously I'm a GVG player, so the most competitive game mode currently, and I tested King and John.
Guild
So
Wars,
obviously in the team, so those who play in GVG, they know the meta currently. It was the collab team which was overbroken, so with Shadow Beta, so it was Shadow Bet Alpha Gloxinia or King to separate like that. You had the Lancelot for another human team. Anyway, here I give the teams. Anyway, guys, we don't care now. The GVG is 9,000. The teams are known in real. I don't care. Anyway, the team was broken. And
okay, well, Guild Wars, like, no one, like, is playing that, like, for the most part, right? Like, if you're playing Guild Wars, you're a top, like, 1%, top 0.01% player, right? Like, you have to be in that kind of threshold. So for me, I'm not really complaining about this character's strength in Guild Wars personally. Like, again, like, Iron's coming from the fact that he's like a mega will, so he's, you know, playing in that type of content. But for the general player, guys, like, we are not worried about Guild Wars like that, right? So yeah, and then even if we're talking Guild Wars type of content, Heroes Arena is pretty similar, and you guys saw my video already. King and Diane is insane on Heroes Arena. Oh no, you guys might not have seen the video yet. I'm recording it already. Like, I have it coming out pretty much on the 24th, but I'm gonna be posting this video like right as it hits the 24th, probably. Yeah, so I'm literally just gonna post the video right after I like get this out. But yeah, I mean, guys, like, she is like King and Diane, I think personally are gonna be completely fine on that type of content in my opinion. I think, you know, Heroes Arena, when you do go second, you can tank the hits and then get off the heal that with the talent, so you're already starting off full health, and then you get off the damage. So and you guys will see what from my video when it is out. I'll have it, like, you know, from the time I'm posting this video, you guys will see it in like maybe like 10 hours from now, right? But that video will be dropping, and you guys will see. But yeah, I mean, I think they were fine in Heroes Arena, which is pretty similar to Guild Wars, you know, in the type of content it is.
Honestly, I tested King and Jan, and that's what I was telling you. In fact, the character is too selfish, bro. He brings nothing as Innis. So basically, you end up with a team where you can die very easily, and on top of that, you have to stack the character. In fact,
I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
The character brings nothing to the team, and you need your team to stack him, because when it's not stacked, honestly, guys, the character does damage like a chick. No,
I don't think so. I mean, bro, like, you guys saw my King and Diane 1 out of 6 showcase. You guys saw it, man. I feel like I did crazy damage with that character, and that's at 1 out of 6, you know? So I don't know, at least from my point of view, I don't see that, bro. I don't see that, especially if you're a will. You probably feel the strength, if anything, right? Because Iron probably has 6 out of 6, so he probably feels the strength of the character anyway. I don't know where this is coming from, where they're doing no damage. They do damage, bro. Like, I don't know where this is coming from, actually.
but it's crazy. He does damage like a chick, and the second big flaw is the final damage reduction aspect.
Okay.
So it's cool. You have to fart and so on. Cake, we're happy. But there's a
Okay.
very big problem with that, which is that if, for example, the guy plays the link folder in PvP, you've never needed lol. You're never going to beat a guy. And that, guys, I'm starting to have
Oh,
players
the
playing
Ludo
Linking
Link?
on, and well, you're there like an idiot. In fact, literally, guys.
Ludo Link. Okay, so Ludo Link is a good thing to run in the meta now, just based on King and Diane, guys, right? King and Diane have brought a presence to the game where you pretty much need some type of immunity to petrification, right? So I do see that as a thing of like, okay, Ludo Link can kind of counter the petrify, but petrify another character, bro. What are we talking about? There's 2 other characters on the field in PvP. Do you not just petrify those guys instead, right? Like, am I crazy, guys? Because most people are probably running like Ludo Link on their Hell, right? So usually it's like, okay, Hell has the Ludo Link, and then they'll have like, you know, either Fraudrin or like Lolly Merlin, or they'll have like Lolly Merlin and Milim, right? Okay, let's say that's the case. You petrify the Milim or you petrify the Lolly Merlin. Stop them from getting off their damage, and it'll lower the chance of you dying the turn after, because maybe you petrify them and they all get their cards sealed, right? Because maybe they only have cards with, you know, Diane or you know, with Milim and Lolly Merlin, right? So I don't know. I feel like you don't have to always petrify the hell. Like if they rush ultimate, that could be a little bit of a detriment too. And because this skill is a gauge reduction, that does suck. You're not able to get it off. But I mean, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes, right? I feel like alt rush unknowns are going to be strong, but you can still run King and Diane on a Sins variant with like UR Gulther. They have gauge reduction, so you know you're able to do it. And you know there are probably there's going to be other comps in the future where you have other ways of gauge reduction to stop alt rush, to like stop a hell from, you know, reapplying the retrogression. So I don't know, guys. I think it's fine personally, but let's keep it pushing.
You're there like an idiot and the guy opposite you makes a child. He can make a child with you. He can handle you. In short, it's way too strong.
What is bro talking about?
And so there's the needing. Actually, the needing should be modified and reversed. Basically, you put it as soon as the character can petrify. So basically, he has, let's say, I don't know, you put the skill, so the monoble. For needing, you have to have an effect. So Wrath of the King of Effects. You can need. But even if the guy has the, what's the name of the back of the cell? Well, you still put a reduction, but you know, you put a penalty on the guy's head as if he were needed. In fact, you have to change this line. You're going to tell me, but what are you talking about? Basically, what I mean by that, friends, is that in PvE, we don't care. Like this line is absolutely useless. You see, never needing, we really don't care. We don't care.
Yeah, in PvE this doesn't matter, because you're never really petrifying anyone, but like, this is for PvP though. I feel like this like effect to lower the final damage you receive is for PvP, so you tank better, no? I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, guys. I'm gonna skip past this part because I feel like Iron just kind of like dragging the petrify part. I feel like there's nothing wrong with it though. Let's hear what else he has to say.
The thing is that the only character who has AOE in an AE, apart from King Jan, is Lancelot.
An AoE, yeah, okay.
So he still has a lot of stacks. So you see, it's very strange how we did it. It's cringe, in fact, it's too cringe.
Oh, that they don't synergize together? I guess, but like, if you think about it, right, you can do the Petrify, and then you just Lancelot AoE that turn, and then you AoE after with King and Diane. Right, you would still be able to get off the single target to buff Lancelot, and then you get off his damage, you kill that one character, and then you get off the AoE damage from King and Diane. I think there's ways to go about it, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I think I see where Iron's kind of coming from so far. He's really just kind of saying that he doesn't, the unit is being selfish and doesn't really synergize with the other fairy characters on the team. But I think it's the opposite. I think they do synergize well. They are there to give the team damage reduction and damage dealt and all that, right? They're providing the basic stats. They're providing the heal and the cleanse. They're providing the damage reduction from petrifying an enemy, which they can do. And yeah, I mean, right now, like, unless you're running like DK Melee, who is starter turn healing in PvP right now, right? Like there's not, or in cleansing, I mean, there's not many characters doing that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with this, guys. Like I see no like issue really here still. Like maybe I'm crazy and you guys think that, but I don't see an issue here.
Apart from that, obviously, as soon as you manage to stack, well, the character will shoot with his owl. In fact, it's a bit like the goal of the character, but the end result is that, in fact, in most fights, by the time you stack, etc., the fight is over.
Exactly, you already won.
Moving forward in your game with your other characters next to you, you have to advance in the game, otherwise you get destroyed. So, that's why, guys, I'm telling you that if you start first, yes, the character will work, because you can advance in your game, you can do things. But, let's say you start second, you're behind, and the problem is that this delay has repercussions in your game, because the character, he wasn't made to start second. It's a...
Guys, the talent you can use starting second, you can get the heal, and you can do the damage. I don't know where this is coming from, where starting second is a bad thing. I do not see this. I don't know. I don't know.
Simple as that. You're not tanking enough, in fact. If you tank, well, yes, you start second, relax, bro, there's no problem. But there you don't tank the character. Guys,
if you go second, you get the talent off, though. Like, if you don't die, right? If you die, then it was just because the guy was a bigger whale than you, he would have won regardless. But if you do live going second, then you get off the talent, right? Am I crazy, guys? Am I crazy?
One-shotted. You're going to tell me, yeah, there might be a reduction. So run out of the King of Effects, blah blah blah, 40% reduction. But the same, you don't even see the reduction, bro. Even if you're full stack, you feel like there's no discount, and the problem with that is that when an ally concerned takes damage, you lose a stack. It's illogical. You struggle to get...
Yeah, okay, you know what? That's like the main point that I've heard so far from Iron that I think is fair. You losing the stacks when you take damage. That is kind of weird, though. I don't know why they have that. I guess so it's that you don't have, like, just absurd damage reduction just infinitely, right, till it disappears. I guess that's fair, but yeah, I mean, that's like one thing that I think is a little bit of a flaw in the kit, but like other than that, guys, like, I don't know, man, you get the buff back, you know, you get it back pretty consistently. I don't know, man.
But you lose them in 2 seconds.
And like, I don't know, for
Nanny
me, the moment you get the buffs, you're doing damage. You're gonna use the King and Diane skill on that turn, no? Like, is that not what we're doing, guys?
Shield. No, really guys, it's illogical in fact. The bottom line is,
Okay.
the character is illogical in PvP. I'm talking about PvP again. He's illogical. He's
Illogical
not made for
PvP.
PvP. You feel like you're reading a character from 2022.
I disagree. This is crazy. Chat. Oh my gosh, guys. I think I'm gonna end the video there. I feel like we got the gist of what Iron had to say. This is insane to me, bro. There's no way we're saying this character feels like a 2022 character when I'm clearing PvP with this unit. I am shocked, bro. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think King and Diane need a buff, or do you think they're fine? In PvE, I mean, you guys have already saw my videos so far, they're fine, right? PvP, I think they're fine. But I guess, you know, it seems like the community is saying differently. Let me know what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Do you guys think this character needs a buff or not? But that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, just another kind of yap video here, guys. 20 minutes of yap. But yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy, and we'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out, guys.